off because I wasn't finished going after what I actually wanted.
Let's hug it out.
Let's hug it out.
Let's hug it out. That was rough.
Was it?
My mom,
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is? Talking to you guys about Courtney leading with the sexual and the masculine energy. I want to break down some things about her particular behavior that we saw on the show. I'm sure this is probably going to have a split divide from the audience, but this is why we have to have these kind of conversations and get a more wholesome view on things. I'm willing to listen if you're willing to listen today. Let's get straight into it. But before we do, like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Stay hydrated because the streets out there, they're hot. Grab your bottle down below. All right. Before we finally get to it, let's click on the little intro and get the show going. You know what time it is. So, talking to you guys about Courtney, you just heard a little clip there. I'm going to play a little bit more in a second or two about her saying that she hadn't finished going after what she wanted. And I think that line itself encapsulated exactly what I mean about Courtney's masculine energy. Now, I know some people are going to probably disagree because they feel like women can do what men can do and men can do what women can do. They can't. Okay. All right. Because we deal with things differently. Okay. There are things that men can do, but shouldn't do. And there are things that women can do that probably shouldn't do. And the reason why is because it messes up the whole situation. I think we talk about masculine and feminine energy. We talk about how I always talk about how the complementary you need masculine and feminine. Let me give you an example. What did you see with Courtney and Cornelius? We saw more of a feminine energy with Cornelius being receptive to her advancements rather than him putting on advancements to Courtney, right? And then we all can feel a little bit awkward when we're seeing a woman do what we've seen a man traditionally do. Now, when a woman pursues a man this way, I'll be honest with you, it tends not to work out the way you want it to work out because it's an aggressive move, right? Not that she's necessarily aggressive, but it is aggressive. Well, no, it was a bit aggressive. It's an aggressive move. Right. And when you do that, what you do is you remove the power from a man. And here's the difficulty behind this actual situation. Number one, we are in a society that's patriarchal. And men oftentimes have the power to rule and have the power to make decisions. The trouble behind that is when you remove a man from that position, the ego and the pride fight against you. Number two, I always ask this question. I think I asked this question to Kerry the other day. I said, how many women would want to lift their man and put him on the counter whilst having, some sexual relations? How many of us would want to do that? How many of us want to lift our men? Ladies, how many of you? I said it like I've got a man. How many ladies want to lift their man, put him on the counter like it's sexy? Huh? How many women want to do that? Right? Let me give you another example. How many women want to be the one that is going downstairs when there's a noise downstairs at nighttime? How many want to be fighting the robber when he comes through the door at nighttime? We have set things that we see between men and women. And that when we talk about that, we talk about the divine masculinity and femininity. And all it really means is there are certain things that are within those energies, which, by the way, both women and men need to carry both. It's just how much you carry and what you lead with. Okay, all right. When a man leads with good amount of masculine energy, we will say he's an assertive man. When a woman leads with a good amount of femininity, you'll just say she's beautiful, she's caring, she's nurturing. You say she's lovely to be around. Just warm. You'll feel it straight away. And I always give an example. When we had Leilani on this channel, I've never felt anyone exude so much warmth and feminine energy. Right? Listen, I think there are so many different beautiful women out there, and there have been, and you know me, I like my dark skins like Icos. But it don't matter what it was, it don't matter who I found most beautiful, who I felt was the most feminine, who I encountered, that even me, I was getting confused. I was like, but I need to focus, was Leilani. The smile, the energy, the warmth, the way she spoke, the way she moved about things, the way she even thought about certain things, that and all of it was encompassing some level of feminine energy within that thing. What am I talking about here? What I'm really discussing here in this moment is when you deal with the masculine, it deals with protection, servitude, provision, okay, direction, Okay, execution, right? I should say proposing plans. Okay, it speaks about doing the final part, which is the execution. It talks about protection, providing, serving. That's what we talk about in terms of masculine energy, right? And at work, it's never a problem if anybody uses those energies because we have to get things done. When we're talking about the divine femininity, it's about being receptive. It's about dealing with the emotions and creativity. It's about dealing with love and dealing with being able to birth. And that doesn't necessarily mean birth children, but being able to birth ideas, right? So being able to birth, being able to use your creativity, being able to birth ideas, being able to receive, nurture, care, love, all that kind of stuff we talk about is the feminine energy. And both men and women need both. But what we saw in this particular part, what we saw with Courtney in this particular episode, right, was a lot of masculine. Let me show you why, okay? I think I put this in my other video, but let me show you why, all right? We're going to go back to the conversation between herself and Cornelius, right? We're going to go back to this comment. And there's a comment that she makes, which is really interesting, right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know this comment. Men have made this comment to you before, I'm sure, when they've heard, when they want to press up on you, when they want to make moves on you, ladies. You know how the mandem can move like this, hunting. All right, this is what it sounds like.
I need a designated driver.
I got you. Oh, so you want me to take you home? I can do that.
So you know.
Now it's an innocent conversation. You want me to take you home? Like, listen. There's nothing wrong with the flirt, right? But again, I'm talking about it encapsulates what she was actually doing throughout that whole conversation. She was the one that was pressing everything forward and pressing it in a sexual nature. Now, some people do this and it's not sexual. They do it and it becomes what they would call, as what Tyron was talking about, where he felt that Kerry was overstepping boundaries, where he felt like she was being too assertive in that moment, not giving him room to make decisions. That, for men, is going to feel like we're being claustrophobic, like you're pushing us too deep. Now, there are men that will be happy to receive Courtney. There are always going to be men that are going to be happy to receive Courtney, because there are always going to be men who don't care how bad or how good or what you do, whatever. As long as you look good to them, they're going to want to receive it. So there's never going to be a problem in terms of shortage of men who are going to go after Courtney. That's a given. But what we're talking about here is the fact that she's in the show and what she has shown us. And what she's shown us is that there are aspects of her behavior which are dominant, which usually when you're in an interaction with a man, when it becomes too dominant, it's a turnoff, right? It's a turnoff. Where in this conversation did you hear with her and Cornelius, did you hear her receiving what he is saying, what he's saying to her? Where do you see that? Right? Let's watch it a little bit longer again. I want to go a bit further, right? Let's go a bit further.
On that path, right? I think once you wait, it's like you have something to look forward to.
I see your viewpoint.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be hard with you because...
Again, that line again is what mandem used to say to girl when they're trying to hunt them and break down their sexual walls. You know, when mandem hear a girl, oh, I'm celibate, and the man will be like, do you know what? It's going to be harder to, I'm not going to lie to you, because obviously you're a baddie and that. And listen, I ain't even trying to spoil your thing, but listen, if I'm with you, you know what it's on. You know what I'm on. If I'm with you, you know what time I'm on, and you know what it is. You understand? Yeah. When men are hunting, that's how they talk. And that's the problem we're seeing with Courtney. She's hunting. And for women to be hunting men, no. Now, we can talk about lionesses and lions, but lionesses and lions are not men and women, okay? But we can take some inspiration from it. But they're not men, okay? And even then, who does the patrolling and the territorial prowling, making sure that their pride is kept safe? Is it not the men? They have a job. Right. So right now, what we're seeing is her hunting this man, and what she's not giving him the opportunity to do is be able to use his masculine energy with her. Now, I believe it's because her masculine energy is more dominant than Cornelius's, and that's because maybe because of his people pleasing energy. Some people are a bit more quieter and a little bit more what we call them, quote unquote nice. And I think he has those kind of qualities about him. And when he meets Courtney, he has to surrender. Because he's got less of it seems like he's got less of the masculine energy being put out in their interactions. Whereas when you saw Courtney with Corey, it was a totally different ball game, was it not? We didn't get to see Courtney trying to put moves on Corey. It was more Corey putting moves on Courtney because he was one that was more majority hunting. So we saw what happened there, right? Let me go to this next part as well, where she says this.
The way you look, he still prefers to not make sex the foundation of a relationship. I understand where he's coming from, but I'm a sexual person.
Again, who's touching whose thigh? Is her touching his thigh? It's usually the man who usually does that. But what's really interesting here, is that she's actually initiating the sex. Like, and again, I always say this: the art of femininity is to be able to make the man feel like he's hunting her when really she's hunting him. That is actually the greatest. That is the greatest art of femininity. Is that she presents as if I'm allowing you to hunt me when really she's actually the one hunting you. She's really the one hunting you. She has seen you. She's caught your eye. She's fluttered it a little bit. And then she's looked away. What she's done is she's told you the signal, come over. Come and hunt. You understand? I'm giving a very basic level. The art of that femininity is to get that person to think that it's really them that made that decision. No. You gave him a signal. And then he actually replied to the signal. He didn't realize he's going now. You've given that non-verbal communication. He's gone with it. He's going to hunt now. Similarly, how a lion sees a prey and one person's at the back of the pack, that is a signal to now go. Right? And so what we're seeing here in the scenario with Courtney and Cornelius is that his reduction of masculinity in their interactions, okay, I feel like he's got back the boundary stuff. Yeah, he done a better job. He did a great job, actually. Let me say that probably. He did a great job this episode. But because obviously beforehand he's been allowing her to touch her, it's been growing, right? But because he's allowed to now touch him, grab his thigh, put a hand in the thigh, stroke it in the thigh, I'm telling you now, there's blood rushing to the pressure of his penis. It honestly is. He needs to. He obviously, luckily, she's gone now, but he would have been in trouble. Because of that situation, she's now showing us that she wants him. She hasn't finished going after what she wants. And that is where there's trouble. She hasn't finished going after what she wants. Now, like I said, there are always going to be men that are going to want to roll with this, but a lot of men are not, okay? Let me show you some other recent aspects of what I was saying about the masculine energy being put there. Here we go again. This comment here
was really willing to wait, and so this could be a potential problem here.
It's up to you whether you want to put yourself on the bench or if you want to win this championship. So
offering that offering that offer there, it's up to you whether you want to again. That is again the job of the man, because now what she's saying is, if you want to have it, listen, you know what to do. Come. Let's eat together. You know what I'm saying? Like I've told you the terms and conditions. I've set it for you. And usually this actually is something that women will do, but it's just not in this most overt way. And that's the actually the bigger issue here when it comes to masculine and feminine energy, is that the feminine energy masks itself. It masks itself in creativity. It masks itself in subtleties. And this is why when you look at Adam and Eve, it's so important, because what you see of Adam and Eve is subtlety. My girl didn't start talking man's ear off. My girl didn't start begging him. She just handed him the fruit, okay? And he responded by taking the fruit, okay? And then eating it. Now, we know that, and again, the way that Satan, the serpent, got to Eve wasn't through taking a fruit and giving it to her, because probably she would have rejected it. How he got to her was by speaking words. Women oftentimes respond, or the feminine energy, let me say this, the feminine energy responds to words, and the masculine energy responds to action. So when you see someone using action, right, in this overt way, and I'm not talking about, it has to be subtle, but when it's overt and it's right in front of your eyes, bang, what can happen is a person can reject it because they can feel like they're battling up against a wall. Right? That's not to say that, Courtney can't use, some level of sexual energy or use her masculine energy. It's just the timing, the season, and how much. But Courtney does it all the time. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say all the time. A majority of the times we've seen the clips, she's using it with Cornelius. She's putting the pressure on Cornelius. She's not giving Cornelius the opportunity to come and chase her. Yet with Corey, Corey was allowed the opportunity to chase her because he was willing to be so active. But she senses he's not going to be so active, Cornelia. So she begins to, you know, get onto it. And I want to do a part 2 because I don't want to make this video too long. What I want to talk about is how I think that Courtney is addicted to the power of being able to pursue. I think that's what happened here. There was a little slight addiction to the power because there's power with it. When you're the one hunting, there's a power that comes with it, and it can become addictive. But it also comes from a place, I believe, as well. When I see, and this is my honest thoughts, and it might not be, it's not every woman. When I see women using a lot of the sexual masculine energy to deal with men, I often think there is something that's happened to them in the past that is forcing them or pushing them in the direction of thinking that's where they need to be. Because oftentimes when we see a woman carrying a lot of masculine energy, it speaks to protective energy rather than actually it being something that is of a positive nature. It normally speaks to something that has happened negatively, and we've put the masculine energy there to protect, because that's what it does. And I say this term all the time: the most unprotected are the most protected. Right? So in the next part of the video, I want to analyze her conversation with Walter and show you some body language, things that she was doing, even the way she was sitting. I said, rah, that's how I expect a man almost to sit, not necessarily like a woman, right? And again, it's not to say that she's not a woman. I want you to understand we're talking about how the thing is presented and how it manifests itself, right? That she may be more tomboyish. That's probably why maybe that's happening, right? But that tomboyish is not the problem. The problem is now when you begin to move, you then move in the masculine. Your interests and hobbies may be tomboyish, but the way you move now speaks to how, you know, what's really interesting about this is how certain men who turn to be gay right, suddenly become, yes, honey, yes. And what they're doing is now they're beginning to encompass what we call feminine traits. Even the voice begins to change. Now, let's be honest. Was your voice like that in the beginning? No. But they've begun to take on the character and the spirit of that energy. Yes, honey. Yes. Yes. To the BITCH. Yes. Head to and all this stuff. Yeah. I'm being facetious, but that's honestly what we're seeing. They are taking on those characteristics. And what I see with Courtney is that she's taken on the male kind of energy. And I'll show you that in the second part. So like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification that uploads. Let us know your thoughts about this. Maybe you think I'm being far-fetched. Maybe I'm being facetious. You comment down below. Let us know your thoughts, and we'll have a discussion there as well. Appreciate it, guys. Stay locked, stay loaded, and watch out for part 2.